give in to all our demands, and forget about being a part of Western Europe. Frank Gardner, BBC News.
Well, let's talk now to US Army retired Major John Spencer, who's chair of the Urban Warfare Studies at Madison Policy Forum and the author of The Connected Soldiers. He joins us from Colorado. It's really good to have you on the programme. Thanks for joining us. Let me ask you, first of all, we're all talking about the potential battle for Kyiv. How will that look?
It'll look... So I think we're already using the wrong analogy. As some people talk about Grozny, I think you're going to see more of a Battle of Stalingrad, Battle of Berlin, entire neighborhoods flattened, but a Russian army literally entering a meat grinder and getting chewed up. I'm honest about that. I honestly think that the David versus Goliath has changed. Putin gave Ukrainians, which I stand for Ukraine, too much time. And I see what's happening in what the operational plan, but man, it's going to go really bad for Russians.
You think so? I mean, you don't think that given time they can break down the Ukrainian forces?
Well, one, I don't think they have time, right? So we already know they're demoralized, they're cold, they're homesick. Trust me, they're homesick. They're running out of ammo. They're being picked apart before they even get into position to attack. I mean, they need that armor to penetrate. Let's not kid ourselves. They need infantry and they need armor. And they're low on both. At this point, yeah, if you would have talked to me a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, at this point, they need tens of thousands of troops, a lot more armor, and a lot more artillery than I know they have. I mean, they fired 30,000 rounds a day into Grozny, and this is not Grozny.
What about talk of getting troops from other countries, of bringing in foreign fighters? Is that something that worries you?
Yeah, it worries me. I mean, Stalin said that quantity is its own quality. So you need, like I said, you need a lot of infantry and combined with your armor. And some of these fighters may be the hardened urban fighters from Syria. They could not be. It's concerning, but it's also a sign of desperation, to be honest. Putin is desperate. I mean, that's dangerous. As you know, a caged bear is dangerous. But these are desperate measures. A lot of this stuff that we see right now are really desperate measures. And this city attack was not going to go the way that probably his generals are saying it will. And
if it doesn't, do you think there is then potential for Russia to turn to chemical weapons, the use of chemical weapons, as it did in Syria?
I mean, I honestly, personally don't think so, because I think there's been enough recognition in the international community to say that's a line. If you cross it, things will change. I'm not saying it's not possible, and I would prepare and I would gas mask in every aspect. One, to be honest, Syria is not Ukraine. The whole world is watching. I can turn on a live camera right now of Kyiv. The whole world is watching.
What do you think is going to happen then over the coming days? What do you predict, given your experience?
Yeah, so I predict that the Battle of Kyiv is coming in days. I think the amount of artillery and bombing any military at this point would have to do, he has to increase that in a lot. So any defender inside who has a position and he can be seen from the sky needs to have some protection, because that's step one after they isolate the city, which they're doing. In these armor formations that are at basically the four corners of the city, somebody's going to try to do a penetration. And that's where the defenders have to pick that apart, because, take every tank off every street, because again, no smart man goes into a fight like this without a tank. You need everything else. What
about in the air, though?
Yeah, so I mean, not having air superiority, you're not having that freedom. I think you quoted like a certain number of sorties. In the Battle of Stalingrad, they flew 1,600 sorties in a single day. He can't do that right now. It's just contested. So they have to keep contesting the air, and I think they will, and they are.
OK, John Spencer, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. It's been really good to have you on the programme.